Morning, dear devotees and friends. Today is the first Saturday of the month, and our Hindu temple of Lemont, they organize this study of the Narada Bhakti Sutra. The theme is the fragrance of Vedanta, and we have already completed some of the scripture. Now we are studying Narada Bhakti Sutra. Let us begin with this mantra. Yasya smarana matrena janma samsara bandhanat vimuchyate namastashmai Vishnave Prabhavishnave. I bow down to Lord Vishnu, the great God, whose mere remembrance makes one free from the bondage of birth and death. So, now we are studying how the Narada, he is going on giving the different definitions of the devotion, and he is encouraging us to follow the path of devotion. This is the beautiful way that the Hinduism developed. It has different paths according to the taste, aptitude, likings people can follow. And the teachers will always encourage, naturally when he is studying to teaching the devotion, he will encourage his students to follow that particular path. Like a chemistry teacher will say, oh, there is nothing like chemistry, you must study chemistry. A physics professor will say, physics is the best thing, you must study physics. Like that, each and every teacher, they will promote their own subject, but all are leading to the same goal, and that is the knowledge. Here also, as because there are different type of temperament, different type of mentality, there are people who are very analytical. So, for them, the path of knowledge, emotional, devoted for the path of devotion, very active, path of karma, and very contemplative, the path of Gyana. And now this way, of course, Swami Vivekananda and his Guru Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, they have prescribed the combination of all the four yogas. So, that is it. So, it goes like that. Now, we are studying the Vedanta. And tomorrow again in the morning we will meet and we will study the pure Advaitic Gyana. So, that is Yoga Vasishta, that is a pure Advaitic Gyana will be there. And now, this is, we are studying the Bhakti. And in the Bhakti, the last month we completed 30th the sloka of this Narada Bhakti Sutra, Swayam Phalarupa iti Brahma Kumara. Now, the Brahma Kumara means the Narada himself, as we have already discussed. He said, and then very beautifully he said, Bhakti is the cause and Bhakti is the effect. Now, when we are practicing the path of knowledge, we get Brahma Gyana. There are different type of practices are there, like the Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Those who are practicing the path of knowledge, they don't meditate, because on whom they will meditate and who is going to meditate. So, they don't worship because there is no God conception in that path. So, they are practicing only vichara, and ultimately they are reaching to a knowledge that everything is nothing but the one whom they have termed as Brahman. The all pervading consciousness is the Brahman. But the Bhakti is a different thing. When you are practicing Bhakti, you have already achieved that. This is the beauty of the path of devotion. So, when we are practicing the devotion path of Bhakti, then slowly the Narada says that this is the way you can understand Swayam Phalarupata iti. Swayam, that path itself is the result. The cause and the effect are the same. What is the cause? Practices. What are the practice? Devotion. What type of devotion? The God is everywhere. He is within my heart and He is everywhere. I am practicing that. And when I am practicing that, ultimately, phalarupata, I see the God only and nothing else. The practice and the result are the same. In the verse 31 and 32, the Narada, there is a direct experience and not mere knowledge, the idea of the Godhead. For example, Narada says, just by seeing a palace, can you make the king happy? Now, we completed up to 30th verse last month. This month we are beginning with 31. And in the 31, Narada is continuing, giving the example. You have to develop the love for God, you have to realize God, you have to become God. And obviously he is telling, suppose you go and see a palace. I am not reading that aphorism. Suppose you go and see a palace, can you make the king happy by that? No, that is not possible. So obviously you have to go and meet the king, you have to stay with the king, you have to develop a relation with the king. King will start liking you, then only it is successful. The ultimate goal to visit the palace to develop the relationship with the king. Now, when we are going to the temple, just by seeing the beautiful temple architecture, and he was the architect, and this is that, so many things externally, and we are so happy, and people will be telling, some of the volunteers will be there, they will be telling, you know, this is the whole thing that you see is carved from one stone, and the stone came from Italy. So they will say like that, and you are very happy. But what about God? When you are going to a temple, it is not the of course, beautiful architecture that gives the joy, that is okay. And those who are doing, they are also getting happy that for God we have made a beautiful temple, that is also good. But what about the person who is going over there to realize God? Unless he reaches over there, unless he sees the God, feels the attraction for God, it is of no use. So Narada says, giving that example, that suppose you go to a palace and see the whole palace, but don't get any acquaintance with the king, it is of no use. Some people, they used to come to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. They were worldly minded people. They were not very much interested in spirituality, religion. And Sri Ramakrishna, very humble looking, the very ordinary person apparently. So they never took interest in that. And when they went over there, Sri Ramakrishna himself he could read the minds. He himself used to say, you better go and visit the flower garden over there by the bank of the Ganga, the flowing beautiful river and the flowers. Go over there. And there are so many temples, Dadash Shiva temple, all the 12 Shiva temples, go and visit those. Then another side, there is this temple, that go and visit. But those who were interested, them he used to say, sit over here and let me talk to you. So this acquaintance, when we go to a temple and then only see here and there and don't get acquainted with the God or listen about him, hear about him, read about him, what is the use of that? So he is telling in 31 verse, just by seeing a palace, can you make the king happy? No. Then in the next the sloka he says, just by seeing food, can you satisfy your hunger? He is giving more practical example. The friends, this is the teaching. Our goal is to develop love for God. So when you are going to visit the temple, because this is the study that we are, the book that you are studying, and the Hindu temple of the Greater Chicago, Lemont, they are organized. It's a beautiful temple. Many of you must have visited. And it has so many gods and goddesses. Suppose you entered into the temple and you first see the majestic statue of Swami Vivekananda, and by the side of the statue there is a hall where different type of cultural programs they organize. And then you climb and you see that the first temple of the goddess Durga and other gods and goddesses. Then you go to the Rama temple, Krishna temple, so all this. Now, if you are not interested in that, you just go over there, and there is of course a very interesting place is there, that is the kitchen. If you go over there, and there you can get the very tasty food, and you take the food and come out, you are not getting the benefit of visiting the temple. Of course, you will be satisfied with the food, but you are not getting the benefit of visiting the holy place. So this is the teaching of the Narada. When you are going to the temple, the first thing you must go to the temple. You must remember God. At least from distance you should bow down and should remember God and take His blessings. Then you go to other places and meet your friends and whatever. So the purpose should be that. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna again and again he used to say, and we were reading in the gospel, he was mentioning, so look at these ladies, they have come to bathe in the Ganga. It's a holy deep that they will take. But instead of thinking about that, the holiness of the goddess Ganga, who has come from the feet of the Vishnu and from the head of the Shiva, and all these great people, they have bathed in that, right from the Lord Buddha and the Shankara and everyone. So we are going to bathe into that holy river, and it is coming down from the Himalaya. If you think in that way, only that deep will make you happy, because you are thinking about that. But if the thought is not there, it will be just like dipping in any water. And they are going on chatting, discussing about their worldly things, what is happening in the family. They will go down over there and rubbing their body, cleaning their body, discussing other things. They came up and they said, we had a Ganga bath. They will go and announce to the other people, oh, we went over there, the holy place, we took a bath in that holy river. But effect, zero, nothing. Because you didn't thought about that. It is not the body, it is the mind. And in the mind, the thought that is going on, that is most important. Now friends, the 33rd aphorism, the Narada is telling, Tasmat sa eva grahya mumukshubhihi. Tasmat means therefore. Sa is that. That means the bhakti. Here the reference is bhakti. Eva only. Grahya should be accepted. Mumukshubhihi, the seekers of liberation. As because Narada is teaching the devotion, so he is naturally, as I was telling, all teachers, they will always say that my subject is the best subject. You better come and join in my class. The Narada is telling like that. But of course, the bhakti is very easy and anyone can try over here. Gyana, very difficult, very difficult. And other also activity and meditation. But the bhakti, as because we have the love inside our mind, we are having that love, and we love the association, we like to give the gift to the others. All those temperaments, all those our mental feeling, if we offer to God, that will take us to God. So it is, Narada is telling, it will be better. So tasmat, therefore, the bhakti eva, only devotion, grahya should accept. Who? The seekers of liberation. Mumukshubhihi. If we are not mumukshu, if we are not interested in getting the liberation, enough is enough. This world that we have seen, we have enjoyed. Now it is time for me to go out of this. Every day you have to pray to God. God, you have given me this life, so many experiences, That is enough. Now please take me to your abode. That should be the everyday prayer. And they are called mumukshu. Mumukshu means mukti ichha. Those who are hankering for liberation. Liberation from what? We are living in a free country. America is a free country. And we are all free people. But then liberation for what? Liberation of the bondage of our desire. We are bound by our desires, and desires, when not satisfied, anger. And when anger is there, I go do something for which again I am suffering. So that is, this circle goes on, and everything because of our ego, I, me and mine. So I have to understand that, and the prayer should be, oh God, you have created me. You have given me all this, my ego, my desire. Now take it back. I don't need it. I only need you. And what is God? Is nothing but love, love, and love. Love that encompasses all. Love that knows no boundary. It is not the little love that I love my children or my country or my these or that. It is love that encompasses all. How? Because I see God in everything. I see my God has created all this. I cannot hate anyone. So this is the beauty of the devotion. It generates love, and that love for each and everything. This is the beauty, and he says, mumukshu bihi. Therefore, the seekers of liberation should accept bhakti. And for bhakti, before it generates, you have to have the faith, the complete faith in the existence of God. How you will develop bhakti? Bhakti is a path, some of the practices. But the very first thing, that the faith, the God is there. If we don't believe the God is there, then how can we? So if you are going to love someone, there should be someone, at least some ideology, some ideas, maybe a country, something must be there. So it is dualistic. Either the God or something, it is better to have the God or goddess, should be there. And I believe the God is there. As Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, after the long practices, after their realization, then he declared, I swear in the name of my mother, God is there. You can talk to God, you can see God. Can you imagine? Now, this is called the proof. Who is giving the proof? A person who is so genuine, who was not having any selfish motive. Why he will ask people to go towards God? Sometimes some people, in the name of God, they are satisfying their own needs. Sometimes political, sometimes economical, sometimes. Previously the kings used to say, we are the representative of God, and they will have very good relation with the priest, and they will, both the priest and the king, hand in hand, they will go on torturing the ordinary people, and they will utilize the name of God. That's why the people have lost faith in God and also the religion, because of this misunderstanding and the misuse. The God is nothing but love, and God has created each and every one. He has created that our priest, the king, and also the peasant, the ordinary people. Why there will be difference? From the sight of the eye of the father, whether one son is very intelligent and he is a doctor or an engineer or an officer, and another son is not that intelligent, but the love is same for the father. He will love both the children, both the sons equally. So, but same way, when we are thinking of God, God is there, and God has created me. So naturally, He is my father, He is my mother, and I have every right to go back to my father, to my mother. The complete love and dedication for the God. And what I need, I like to go back to my abode, that prayer. Father, you brought me over here in this playground. I have enjoyed it. And the children, sometime in the afternoon, they will go with their parents. The parents will be sitting on a bench and the children will be playing outside. And there will be different type of games are there. They will enjoy this one, that one. And when slowly the dusk comes, it is evening, they come back to the parents and say, we are tired, we like to go back home. The same way, we are having this experience in this world. Those who are still want to get the experience of joy, happiness, money, and the name, fame, it is different for them. And it is for the mumukshus, those who are tired of those. Some people will clap, some newspaper will publish your picture and some article about you, and for that, the next day that newspaper will go somewhere, no one will read that. Rather, they may be using that paper with your picture for cleaning some dust and all that. So naturally, it is not that good, isn't it? So it is better to have the joy, the happiness within. If we discuss in this way, think in this way, ponder in this way, then it's called vichara. And that vichara, that discrimination, that analysis will detach your mind from the worldly things. And then you turn towards God. This creation, there must be a creator, and he is God. Scientists are trying to find it out, and they are approaching from the externally. And external and internal, there are two things are there, the mind and the body. They are also analyzing the mind, and at the back of the mind, behind the mind, there is a self, the consciousness, almost there they are trying to reach. The moment they will reach over there, then they will stop. No more search. They will say, Chiddante sarva samsayaha. All my doubts are now gone. I am free. There is no doubt. There is God. There is consciousness who is there, and I can call him as a father or a mother or a friend or whatever relation I like to develop in that way. But it is there. So first is the faith, and second is complete love and dedication. When I am loving someone, I am expecting something in return. No, that is a different type of love. Here the love is only one way. I only love you. Whether you like me or not, love me or not, it doesn't matter. I want to see you happy. That's all, and nothing else. There are beautiful stories are there, and sometimes some of the places direct disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna they used to visit, they found that those type of the love that is unthinkable. So that love, complete sacrifice. I like this person, and for that, for his joy, whatever he wants, no problem. But if you love one human being, the result will be only suffering. Because that human being is not having the capacity to give you anything else. And he is selfishly utilizing your services, all your devotions. No, that's why it is better to love God. The God means nothing but the love and unselfishness. So that is the purity. What is God? Purity. What is the purity? Love and unselfishness. So these are the two qualities if you find in someone, that is your goal. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is nothing but love and unselfishness. So that is the reason we are accepting him as our goal, as our God. He is there. If you pray, he is going to answer. The first is the faith, the second is the love, and the love means dedication. You have to give, give, and give. When this supreme love arises, one becomes illumined, sees the God or Atman in all beings. His heart becomes filled with eternal joy. How we will know that we are proceeding towards God? Heart will be, the mind will be always in full of joy. The one person came to a sadhaka. He was practicing austerity, and that man came and went on telling or criticizing him, and every day he used to criticize. And whenever he used to come, the critic, to insult him unnecessarily, but this man will offer him a seat, a glass of water, and he will sit as if he is listening to a holy discourse. Well, please, do you like to say something about me? Like that 2-3 days, that man got, what is happening? I am coming to insult him and he is behaving like that. When the other people who used to like this person said, why don't you tell him not to come? You are not protesting. No, he is my great friend. He is coming and criticizing me, and immediately I can identify, oh, these are the loopholes. These are the things that I must have to pluck, I have to stop. So that whatever the spirituality I am earning is not going out nowadays, as because I am not aware. So whatever I am earning, it is going out. It's like a pitcher. If the pitcher is having 2-3 holes, may be very tiny, still the water will go out, and you are filling the pitcher, again the water is going down. So if you close those, then the water will retain. So we are taking the name of God, we are visiting the holy place, we are listening to the holy talks, we are reading holy books, so many practices we are doing. Why then we are not developing? Because in our mind there are some holes and we are not aware of it. If someone comes and says, you are so egoistic, is it? Why you are telling like this? This. Oh, yes, that's true. I must be careful from now onwards. You are plugging the holes. That you are very greedy. There was this thing and you ate. You never thought about others. There were other members. You could share. Yeah, that's true. That's a great mistake I have done. From now onwards, I will think first about others, offer that to others. Then anything left over, then only I will take. So you are plugging and your ego is going out. All these things and that is why it needs the great mind. Why? My goal is to realize God. And if people are criticizing me, it is good, because my egos are hurt and it crashes. It goes out. And I go and cry to God. You are my only refuge, my God, and there is no one, no friend. Tameva shakhascha. You are the only shakha, you are the only friend. I don't need anyone's company. Please help me. So when all other peoples are there, people are appreciating, you forget God. So that is the reason it is better for those who are mumukshu, those who attain God. Never care about the criticism or the praising of the worldly people. So constantly the goal is to reach to the goal. And he says, how can one attain this covetous condition? Narada says in the 34th aphorism, Tasya sadhanani gayanti acharyaha. So this is the we can say the Indian tradition. These great teachers, they're very humble. They never say, I am telling you. No. They always say, others say it. When gentleman, he went to another teacher and said, can you please teach me that particular knowledge by knowing which I can understand everything? Then he said, Dve vidye veditabbe iti hasmayat brahmavido vadanti. I am not telling. Those who are knowers of the Brahman, he himself is the knower of Brahman, but very humble. They never say, I. The moment you say I, sometimes we receive letters, it's a 7-line letters, and 5 times I. In the 7 line, there are 5 I. They're great. So this is the way we have to understand. And we have to understand that all these things have already been done. Some great speakers, and they are all the time. You cannot look at them, they are constantly. What is it? What they are telling? Like today, I am reading the Narada Bhakti Sutra. What I am saying? Narada's words. This is not my own realization and composition. Narada already said it, and so many great teachers have already expounded it. This is my turn I got, and I am giving, that's all. So he says, Tasya sadhanani. Tasya means to achieve that supreme love. Sadhanani, the practices, gayanti, explained. Why the word gayanti? Sang. The Gyana. Gyana means it's not English Gyana, it's Sanskrit Gyana. Gyana means the song. Gayanti means they explained in such a beautiful way as if you were listening a music, a song. Gayanti acharyaha. Acharya means those who have already realized it. So they are the great teachers. Acharya. Narada is telling. Not that I am telling. I also heard, I also read, I also practiced, and then from there only I am telling. The humbleness. If there is no humbleness, then it is very difficult to realize God. Why? We are already God. But we can understand it because there is only cover is ego. Self-confidence is always good. One should be self-confident, but at the same time no ego. So the difference, self-confidence and ego is very, very important. So Narada says, the practices, sadhanani, by which one can achieve the supreme love for God has been taught by the great teachers, Acharya. And one teacher, no, many teachers. It's not a single, the plural. Why? Only I can say and no one else. Something wrong. Some of the philosophies are there, or the religions are there, only one teacher. And no one else will be able to get that. That is wrong. Very wrong. Why? If that person, whoever maybe Krishna, maybe Sri Rama, but he came as a human, and as a human he was practicing something like the Lord Rama, like the tradition. At the age of 6 he went to a Guru Griha, he studied over there, stayed with the Guru, served the Guru, learned of many things. Then at the age of 16 he came back. That is normal. Of course Rama completed that little early, so at the age of 12 he came back to his father. Krishna also the same way, and his brother Balarama, elder brother, both of them, they went to a teacher, they got the training and lived with all other ordinary people. That is all. But they are gods. The Krishna was the God. But when he is in human form, he is behaving like that. Same we find in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, very ordinary person. People are coming and bringing food to him. Oh, the Brahmin not having food, acha, give the food. Sometimes the clothing, sometimes little these help and that. And he is accepting that, recognizing that, very happy. And people are thinking we are giving him. But he was the God. He created the whole universe. But he was so humble. So different teachers at different times, they realize the same knowledge and giving. If we practice the same thing, whatever the practices they did, we are also going to be same like that. Maybe ordinary person can never become an avatara, because avatara, that is the incarnations of God, it is God only taking that form. But we can reach to that height, that Godhead. We can mix with the God, we can be with Brahman. Why not? If not, then what is the use of it? Someday I will go to heaven, then there will be someone and he will open the, oh, this is your record, and then some of the pages of the record are missing. Then I will go and argue, sir, I did some good work, why it is not written over there? Is it like this? It is not like that. We are acquiring the good merit, good result over here, and of course we are getting the same result. If not, some wrong is there, something. So that is called scientific way. If you are boiling the water and then putting some rice in that, it will be the cooked for food for everyone. The same process if you follow anywhere, anytime, same result. If not, there is something wrong. So this is the way the religion also. So the Narada is telling, Tasya sadhanani gayanti acharyaha. And what is that sadhana? The very first teaching, all the acharyas, all the teachers, Narada said, is telling the very first thing you should practice to develop the love for God, supreme love for God. Tattu Vishaya Tyagat, Sanga Tyagat cha. Cha means and. So Vishaya Tyagat. Vishaya, what are the Vishaya? Objects. All these things in the name and form, that is called Vishaya. Any name and any form is called Vishaya. Why Vishaya? Vishaya means the object. It has been created, and if you like that, you attach to that, and you feel that without that I am not going to survive, then it is not God realization. The development of love for God is not for you. You enjoy those things. It's no problem. There's some people are there. That's why in the very famous Upanishad, Ishopanishad, it says, the mantra in the Upanishad, it will say, everything you should give up. Who's the thing that you are going to enjoy? Everything is nothing but the temporary. Ishavashamidam sarvam jatkincha jagatyam jagat. You better try to think that the world, everything is nothing but that consciousness. The very second verse is say, well, if you can't do that, okay, you enjoy, but keeping in mind that this is temporary. So have detachment and then enjoy. It's nothing, no problem. And by that way, even if you are surviving for 100 years, then slowly you will get detached. Oh, enough. Oh, this car and this house. I have seen rich people, they are coming and donating their car. Swamiji, that was my very favorite car, I like to donate to you. Now it is enough. I have driven, I have used, it's okay now. And the houses also, they are giving. Money, they are donating. Why? Enough. So you enjoyed, now you are giving it back to the society and you are getting freedom against that. Immediately, the moment you are detaching from the object, your mind, that very moment, you are becoming pure and you are developing love for God. This is as simple as that. If you are going for the world, then God is far away. And going for the God, you have to leave the world. So both is necessary, both I like to keep, it is difficult. So it will be very, very difficult. That's why it says, Tattu Vishaya Tyagat. Supreme love of God can be developed by renouncing objects of enjoyments and attraction towards them. Sometimes some people will give some old couches and chairs, and when they will visit, they will come and say, oh, these are the chairs I donated, isn't it, Swami? Are you utilizing it? Are you liking it? Forget it. Why? If you are not forgetting that you gave it, then you are not getting the benefit of the donation. And they will be going on telling, see, if you go over there, all those things, we donated. From our family, we donated. And you must keep a plug over there. And in block letters, you must write that I donated. And it is in my name of this and that. I donated. And then they will be taking the photograph of that plug and sending to all the friends, we have donated. well, you will get all the people will say, oh, a great donor, you have donated so much money for that. But do you know, you will never get benefit of that. You will never get the love for God. That donation, it goes as if you are giving the taxes to the government, like that only. Oh, I gave the taxes to the government. Do you go on telling like that? Oh, everybody is giving. So to live like that. So these are the small things that if we can understand, immediately the holes that is there on that picture will be blocked. And you are getting a beautiful result. And that's why the Jesus said that your one hand, whatever donation he is giving, the other hand should not know it. That means you should not go on telling people like that. Suppose some people out of the temple, they say, okay, we will announce it, because that is also necessary for the society. The people will doubt where from you got so much of money and you have constructed. So that temple authority, they will put your name on the wall and they say, we are grateful to these people, they helped. That is okay. You don't want it, but they have given it. That's okay. But if you go on insisting and then you are promoting and going on and advertising, I don't know whether the good result will come or not. God and His creation is the object, is the Vishaya. So tattu Vishaya Tyaga. Tyaga means giving up. What is the Vishaya? Object. And how you will know? Name and form. Anything having the name and form. Anything. Right from the sun, the moon, the Himalaya, the Alps, these oceans, name and form, they are all Vishaya, including our body, our relatives, everything. And if you want God, you have to give up His creation. The God has created this. Loving the object are like loving the shadow of a person instead of the person himself. Yesterday, when I was reading this, I was feeling, suppose I have created my shadow. This is my shadow, but someone loved that shadow. Oh, it looks so beautiful. And will he get that shadow ever? No, because it is always changing. According to the position of the light, the shadow will change. So the man is running after the shadow instead of the person whose shadow is that, it will be like that. Even if sometime when the person is standing and you get a full complete shadow and you go and embrace that, hold that, oh, I got that, do you think you will be happy? No. After some time it will vanish. It is just like that. If we are going to get the world, the creation of the God, it is nothing but imagination. God imagined and it has just manifested like that. Like the magician creating. He creates so many things. And we truly see those things are there. But in reality it is not there. He is cutting the body of a girl and in two parts, and all people will close their eyes. They can't see that terrible thing. But after a moment, the girl will come out and say, how are you? So like that. So it is all we see. But unbelievable things, it may happen. And if an ordinary person, a magician can do that, mesmerizing thousands of people, think of the power of God. And that is called the Maya. That is wonderfully he can do it. So we have to give up. That's why Shankaracharya, he is mentioning in his Viveka Chudamani, 69 verse, he said, Mokshasya hetu prathamo nigadyate, the very first thing. Mokshasya, if you are interested to get the liberation, the God realization, to go beyond the circle of the birth and death, then the very first thing that you have to start practicing, Vairagyam Atyantam Anitta Vastushu. Vairagya means attitude to give up. What? vastushu, all these objects, because anitya, it's all temporary. So vairagyam atyantam, very strong this desire to give up. Atyantam, vairagyam atyantam, anitya vastushu. So this is the way we have to understand. All these things that we see are all temporary. So we have to give it up, whether we want it or not. See, no one wants to die, right? But everyone dies. We want to hold our all those whom we like, we love. But one day or other, father, mother, grandpa, grandma, one after another they go away. And we get adjusted with that. Again someone we love, again that goes away. It goes on and on and on. Not that there's something very peculiar we are saying. It is all the time it is happening. Every moment it is happening. But still we think, oh, this is the important thing. If you go and open the page of the history, the two kings are fighting. They want to capture the land. Where are those two kings? But another two kings have come. They are doing the same thing, and they are also thinking that their names will be there in the history. So both of them are fighting. Again they are gone. Again. The same thing going on, repeating. How many times the same thing you like to see? But that Maya, the wonderful power of that God, it goes on giving you the same idea. The next, it will be good. Next, it will be good. It goes on like that. That is terrible. So we have to understand, then you have to say enough, give up. And what is this giving up? Sometimes some people will say, no, we should not wear this, we should not eat this, we should not drink that, we should not visit. No, not like that. Simply association. If you get a good food, enjoy it. Don't, no problem. Other something ordinary, okay, today it is okay. The good dress, okay. If not, okay. So everything, whatever comes, that's why the great soul, our first president of the Ramakrishna order, Swami Brahmananda ji said, if you get the opportunity to go and live in that or sleep in that palace, go. No, that is a palace, I am a monk, I should not go over there. Don't bother about that. That palace belongs to somebody else. He is offering you, go and lie down, okay, this is the palace. Next day nobody is there, you have to spread your own mat under a tree and lie down, no problem. That is called vairagya. Constantly jumping, oh, I should not put on the shoe, and the barefoot is walking, and then something developed, and the doctors will have to take care, a lot of medicine. You are creating problem for many people because of that. It is nothing like that. It is so simple. Don't get attached to that. Don't get associated with that. In the beginning, of course, you should be away. And as the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, when the sprout is coming up, you have to give the slowly only, then only you can develop, otherwise not. So when the sprout is coming up, be very, very careful. So this is the way you can, otherwise it will be very difficult. So mokshasya hetu prathamo nigadyate vairagyam atyantam anitya vastushu. So this is the way only we have to understand. Shiva Samhita, again it says, Tajyate sangha sarvatha tajyate brisham annatha na bhavet mukti satyam mayoditam. Lord Shiva is telling, association of worldly people and things must be avoided, otherwise no chance of liberation. So no chance of liberation. Why? Because of the sangha. Sangha means association. Some worldly peoples are there. When they are mixing with you, they will be talking about the worldly things. So naturally, it will be constantly in your mind also that type of thought will come, and you cannot go beyond of that. So this is the problem. So tajyate sangha. You must give up the association and association. Sarvatha tajyate Brisham. The Lord Shiva is telling. It is in the Shiva Samhita. And this way everywhere we find. Next, let us go to the second teaching. The first teaching we have to give up. How we can give up? We are analyzing. How we are analyzing? Everything is temporary. So we don't need it. That is the way. Second, Abhyabrita Bhajanat. Now it is a negative. We give up, give up, give up. But something positive should be there. Otherwise, what we are going to do? Don't mix with that person, don't go there, it's okay. But what I am going to do? So I need something to hold on because it is my mind. It needs something to think. So the Narada says, the second teaching is the 36th aphorism, Abhyakrita Bhajanat. Very simple, because the aphorism is small. Abhyakrita. A means negative. Bhyakrita means stop. Non-stop. Non-stop what? Bhajanat. So if you go to the, what's called that, the some people who are practicing that only devotional path, you will find that the 5 times in the whole day they will do the bhajan. Bhajan, kirtan, and 24 hours the kirtan is going on. Because they think this, they practice this. Abhyakrita bhajanat. Constantly you have to go on practicing. Supreme love of God can be achieved by the continuous practice of worship. Continuous practice. It says Taila dharavat. It's like when the water is pouring, there may be the bubble of air in the water. But when you are pouring the oil, no question of bubble of the air. So they say Taila dharavat, not the water, but the oil. So that means there should not be anything else but the name of God constantly. So this is the second. First, give up the objects. Second, engage your mind constantly by taking the name of God, thinking about God. And the third, it says, Lokepi Bhagavad Guna Sravana Kirtanat. One must listen even while working the divine play of God and sing the glory of God. While working. So sometimes some people think the morning I have taken the name of God, that is sufficient. No, it is not. Evening and morning I am taking, of course it is good. But you have to take it 24 hours. How? You are working, you are thinking, you are driving. How it is possible? Not that you are to, while you are driving, sometimes you are playing the music or the radio, listening to the news. Instead, go on taking the name of God. Or put on some bhajans, some good songs, or some of the discourses that you are listening and going. But you must be careful. And when you are working in the offices, sometimes you can just think about God or read a page. One doctor I know is before the operation, used to say, Swamiji, before the operation, I used to take out some pages of Sri Ramakrishna's or the Swami Vivekananda's teaching, and 1 or 2 teachings I will read. I'll keep the book in the pocket and I'll start operation. And while I am operating, because so many years I am practicing, so it becomes so normal. So at the same time I am thinking about the Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. And that is the way I concentrate. So this is possible. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna gave a beautiful example. Suppose you are having toothache. You are doing everything. You are talking to people, attending the office and all. But every moment, God forbid, is very terrible. So having the toothache. But if you are having that problem, that pain constantly you are remembering. The toothache is there. Pain is there. Though you are working normally. Same way, keep a part of your mind at the feet of God. Go on taking the name of God, remembering God and doing the work. I have seen the Swamis, and when they are talking with the people, they are going on taking the name of God. They will say, oh, how are you? Then the man is answering, and he will keep the hand under his and the cover, this the chadar, and is taking the name of God. The constantly they go on doing like that. This is the way we have to practice. Thank you, friends. So the next month again we will analyze this, and let me see if there is any question. We'll try to give the answer.
There are lots of questions. Devashish is asking the first question. If a person in this birth believes in God and prays to God on a daily basis, is it something because of his good karma in the past?
Of course, Devashish. So this is because of the good karma of the past. Otherwise, that thought will never cross in the mind. There are two brothers. One is thinking about the God and helping others, all these good things. Other brother, no. So why? Because of the past karma. Your two sons, suppose that they are getting the same schooling, same growing up, but one will think in one way, another will. Why? Because of the past karma. And you are correct. The name of God that is coming because of the good work that we have already done in our previous birth. So from this life, again, we have to try to reach to the ultimate goal. Thank you.
Arup Das is asking the next question. Is ego increasing through ages?
No, not like that, Arup. The ego is increasing because I like to utilize that. The around people are there, they are going on telling something, so I feel I should also behave like that. But if you are listening to the great soul and analyzing, I have the self-confidence, I can do all those things, but it is not necessary that I have to go on bragging about that. So by that way, you can reduce. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he gave the wonderful suggestions to develop, get ego free. He said, I am the son of God. The ego is there, but by telling that I am the son of God, I can do it. That is not the ego. You are associating with the Sri Ramakrishna or the God. By that way also you can control. But it is not that growing with the ages. Of course, a child's ego and a grown-up man's ego are different, but not like that. The old age also it will grow more, not like that. So, thank you.
The next question is, in Indian scriptures, many sages say that Brahman cannot be realized by logic, in bracket tarka. Why?
Only logic. That because the Brahman nahi tarkena. And in the Upanishad it is there. And the Katha Upanishad it says, Yame Vaishe Brinute Tena Labhya. That means you have to prepare your heart. You have to, otherwise everything you are doubting, you are questioning, you are not accepting, so by that way you are reaching nowhere. So that's why they said the tarka means you have to, that there's again they have analyzed what is tarka, bitarka and all that. So slowly you have to understand that sometimes some people will come and they will ask some question. When I am going to give the answer, in the midway they will ask another question. Let me complete this. You have asked this question, so you have to understand that otherwise why this question? Similarly, the tarka, if you just for the sake of the debate, if you do that, that is not. You are going to reach to the goal, then tarka will help you. The analysis will help you. The doubts will help you. Questioning will help you. But you have a goal to reach. And when you get the answer, you must have to accept that too. Thank you.
Kalyan is asking the next question. Are the philosophies of Bhakti and Gyana opposite to each other?
Now, Bhakti, Gyana are not opposite to each other. They are actually helping each other. They are not opposite at all. The Gyana means the knowledge about God. What is that? The God must be there, otherwise who has created this? Where from, etc. All this questioning is the Gyana. And then you are utilizing your devotion, your love, your affection, your services for the realization, that is the path of Bhakti. So Gyana and Bhakti goes hand in hand. It is not different. Thank you.
Amit is asking the next question. I am confused. Is Bhakti mentioned anywhere in the Veda or Upanishad, or it came much later due to Puranas?
The bhakti that way, yes, you can say. Upanishads, they are not giving you any way. They are only, they say, this is the truth, that's all. How you will reach over there, they don't bother about that. Next you have to develop. Now they say, Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, these are coming. Then that is the reason the philosophy developed to explain those things. The Brahma Sutra, first is the Upanishad, then the Brahma Sutra. All those Upanishadic dictums, the Brahma Sutra brought in one place and analyzed. Over that, the Acharyas, they explained. So obviously different type of the paths that came afterwards, of course. The Upanishads, they only give the truth. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, Brahma Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi, like that they go on. And they talk about some of the stories, but the truth they give. But if you have to follow the philosophy, of course, afterwards they develop that.
Swarup is asking the next question. What is more important, renunciation or self-surrender?
See, they are the same. If you can give the surrender yourself, then no question. Unless and until you are convinced that there is God, there is the Supreme Being, to whom you are going to surrender yourself, obviously. So, when you are sure that there is God and all these things around me, the worldly objects, they are not true, they cannot give me the true joy, how can you surrender yourself to God? So both are same.
Amit is asking a second question. Swamiji, people say that the Vedas does not allow the worship of idol or deities. Is it true?
No. Again, some people, they are explaining in that way. The problem is not the teaching of the Veda. Problem is the analysis of the Veda. It is nothing like that. Of course, God is there. In the beginning, they used to worship only. In the Rig Veda, they used to only worship. And slowly, the philosophy, the Brahman, it is a much later development. So, if you read that history, slowly you'll find, in the beginning they used to wonder where from this is happening. A gusty wind uprooting the tree and carrying, it must be the God. So, Vayu Devata, the sun, scorching sun, Surya Devata, then the rain and the thunder, Indra Devata. It's all in the Rig Veda. Then they started questioning, who is the main God? Of so many gods you are talking about, who is the main? That same people, their younger generation, they are asking question. So they started. Then much afterwards, they analyzed the whole thing and then came in conclusion. Hinduism is a step-by-step development. That's why it is no founder. It's just analyzing, understanding. Again, on the basis of that, they are again proceeding like this only. The Newton, he discovered something, and the present day scientist, based on that, they are advancing much. So the same way, the first generation, they did in some way. The first they used to worship, and then slowly came the philosophy. Then again, so many varieties of paths according to the aptitudes of the people. But the goal is the same. Thank you.
Kalyan Ghosh is asking again, in Bhakti philosophy, we can say that God created everything. But in Gyana philosophy, the theory of Ajayatavada and non-creation has been postulated. So isn't both concepts contradictory?
See, the Gyana, not only Ajayatavada. Ajayatavada is one concept. The Gyana, if you study our Shankaracharya, to what he is telling, the Gyana is also saying that there is a creation, and the creation is a Shankar philosophy. Shankar, this is also knowledge. But they say the Purusha and Prakriti, the Purusha is all knowledge. It came close to the Prakriti, which is the power, and immediately things started happening. And in the Vedanta they said that maybe one day, as if that supreme being, which is all one, all consciousness, he thought, Ekaham bahushyama vihi, I am one, I like to be many, and the creation came. Ajatobad, only one part of that. He said, actually it has not been created. That is true. But if you say that, then you need not to understand anything else. If you can understand that, it is true that nothing in reality is there. Nothing in reality. That's why Ajatobad, but you have to reach to that height only. Otherwise, if you deny all this and go for that, instead of without attaining the primary level of the education, if you go to the university, what will happen? So, if you can understand Ajatavada, nothing like that. That is wonderful. Follow that. Or otherwise, come a step or two, and then you say, no, this is also possible. Thank you.
Vishwaroop is asking a two-part question. He's saying there is diversity in Ashtavakra Samhita, Vivek Chudamani and Narada Bhakti Sutra. Which speech relates to unity? Part 1. Part 2. Please repeat the story of Shankaracharya about a speechless 14-year-old boy and the moral behind it.
So, this is already late. We won't be able to repeat this question. So, the different scripture, they speak about the same truth in different way. There is no differences. So, try to understand that in the different way only the expressions, but the truth that they are propounding, that is the same. Thank you very much.
The last question is, Sumit is asking, can you please help me understand Samarpana?
Samarpana means giving up. You have to surrender yourself. That's called Samarpana. Now, if you go to the God and say, God, I am yours. But Sumit, this is very, very difficult. Why? Because the ego is there. So, obviously, I am yours, we can say. But somebody said something immediately that pinches my mind. Somebody praises, immediately I get the happiness. But I am not supposed to, because I have already submitted the whole thing at the feet of God. I have no right to become sorry. I have no right to become joy. And so, how I will be there? Only God and God. That is called Samarpana. But that is a beautiful the condition of mind, ultimate. And if one can do that, then final. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, be like the kitten. The kitten, it doesn't do anything. It's completely depending on its mother, wherever the mother will take. That is called Samarpana. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, friends. Wonderful questions, and I'm so happy that you are listening very carefully, noting down and asking question. Really, I'm very, very happy and thankful to you all. Let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat.